So good evening, everyone. Let's settle into our evening with our meditation. So however our week has been, however our day has been, our afternoon, or even the last couple of hours, even arriving here, this can be the time to set the mind right, setting up the mind for some calm, some clarity, some inner ease and well-being. So the mind doesn't need to be affected by what has been happening externally, developing that internal ground of calm awareness, mindful attention, a presence of mind. So with our eyes gently closed, helping to bring awareness within, having our initial deep, relaxing, letting go breath, breathing out any stress, tension, letting go of the happening of the day. And before bringing awareness to the breath, just feeling into the body, taking a few moments to sense and feel this foundation of mindfulness, our body sitting here, feeling grounded, settled, centered, present. Noticing a few contact sensations which help to facilitate mindfulness in the moment through the physical sensation, our feet connecting with the floor, body connecting with the chair cushion or meditation stool. Placement and sensation of our hands and fingers. Awareness of our face. Subtle air against our face. Awareness of light coming in through the closed eyelids. Creating that experience of lightness, brightness, color, patterning, blankness. And looking into that lightness, brightness, blankness, a forward-focused gaze into the space in front. And not being attracted, distracted into any external sounds we might hear, particularly not getting caught into thoughts, a mental sight or sound of thoughts, giving our brain mind a break from the need to be thinking, but rather focusing attention on that naturally soothing sensation of the breath, the in-out breath, particularly at the nose nostril area. Directing attention, sustaining attention, focusing on feeling each breath, mindfulness of breathing, leading to mental collectedness, concentration, samadhi, a coalescence of mind, the meditative mind, foundation of well-being, feeling and knowing each breath. Please help yourself to some tea biscuits. Life, it's happening. It's a happening. Being alive, having life, being alive, experiencing life. How does it feel? Probably a question that we tend to take for granted. How does it feel to be alive? How does it feel to be having life? And in a way, it's not enough to be alive. Just being alive is not enough. There's plenty of creatures, billions and billions and billions and billions of creatures that are alive, but what is the worth of their life? Mostly to as food for some other creature. But even in the context of being alive as a human being, is it enough just to be alive? It's a start. It's a good start. But there is more to life, more to being alive than just being alive. I think we've all realized that. That's probably why we're here this evening. That's why we do some of the things that we do, because we can appreciate that life is more about quality of life, not even about quantity, time of life, but quality of life. And quality of life is more than just what we do, what we have, what we're experiencing. Quality of life is something more integral to the mind. So again, it's not about what we have and what we do, but how we are with our experience. Even our relationship, the mind's relationship to the experience of life. And obviously for us as a human being, life is experienced through the six senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, felt experience, which is a touch, and also thought experience. And the quality of those experiences comes back to the quality of mind. This was a significant insight that the Buddha had before he was the Buddha, when he was still Siddhartha Gautama, a young prince, who seemed to have quality of life, born into a high caste in India, father the king, heir to the throne, and he talks about his life as being in many ways wonderful externally. He said he had three palaces: one for the summer palace; one for the winter palace; and one for the rainy season. Take your pick. And good food, good clothes, pleasant people around him, even a young wife and child. But was he happy? He wasn't happy. Something wasn't right. And it wasn't so much to do with the externals, but the internal quality of his mind. He realized that he was unhappy, uneased. He was, in a way, maybe experiencing what we can call existential angst. I spoke about that a couple of weeks ago. That sort of a sense of, so what is it all about? Aging, illness, and death. Concerns about the future, losing what one likes and loves. Even if you've got it, still a fear of losing it or it changing at least. So that existential angst that was there, a sense of unease and a sense of feeling there was something more to know, to realize, to fulfill, to achieve, to be able to realize and then be able to share with others. A sense of an innate yearning for something that was there that he maybe couldn't name, the unnameable, the ineffable, luminous, spiritual, and feeling compelled to find out what that was. And obviously realizing that it wasn't through doing things with the body as an ascetic, as a yogi. It wasn't about philosophical ideologies. It was about quality of mind that was to be enabled through meditation. So quality of mind was really what it was about. And even the first verse of the Dhammapada collection of verses that generally there's a story behind each verse or stanza that the Buddha spoke. But the first one, which is in a chapter called the Pairs, where the Buddha says, all states of being are determined by mind. It is mind that leads the way. Just as the wheel of the ox cart follows the hoof print of the animal that draws it, so suffering will surely follow when we speak or act impulsively from an impure state of mind. All states of being are determined by mind. It's mind that leads the way. As surely as our shadow never leaves us, so well-being will follow when we speak or act with a pure state of mind. So appreciating that mind is essence, mind is the forerunner of all experience. That's what becomes really, really important. And so meditation is about cultivating the quality, the clarity of mind, which then flows on into everything that we experience. So how we receive experience is based upon how we perceive experience, which then flows on into how we conceive or create experience through state of mind. In fact, the whole of the Buddha's teachings comes down to the work, the training, the development of the quality of our consciousness through meditation. In many ways, developing, purifying, clarifying the mind for well-being. And, for people in general, it's like, okay, so what gives quality of life? Again, not about where you can shop, what restaurants you can go to, what sort of car you drive, etc. When you can afford to retire, but it's about a sense of contentment, a sense of ease, a sense of well-being, a sense of joy. And that's something that is internal. Sure, externals are important to a degree, even for meditation. The Buddha spoke about that which is sappaya for meditation. Sappaya is like the right sort of conditions that create a sense of ease for meditation, which include the right food, right environment, the right sort of abode, the right people to connect with, the right climate or temperature. So favorable conditions that are sappaya, sort of conducive for cultivating the mind. So yes, externals are important to some degree, but ultimately it's the internal, the mind, that's the most important. So in fact, the whole of the Buddhist teachings comes down to being able to cultivate the quality, clarity of the mind so we can then see things more clearly and realize truth for the purpose of freedom. Not just realizing truth for the sake of, well, I know some truths, knowledge, information, not even understanding, but more the freedom that comes from understanding things. So the Buddha's teachings as Sila, Samadhi, Panya, morality, meditation, and wisdom, which in the context of the Eightfold Path, which we've mentioned many times this year, so that right view and right thought make up the wisdom aspect, Panya. Then we have right speech, right action, right livelihood make up the Sila or morality aspect, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration makes up the Samadhi or the meditation aspect. Generally spoken about as Sila, Samadhi, Panya, morality, meditation, and wisdom. So the meditation, the Samadhi aspect is in the middle, supported by the Sila, virtue, morality, which then allows then the meditation, quality of the mind to develop, to then be able to discern and see things clearly, to have insight, which then allows the wisdom to be able to let go of being caught up or caught out by our experience. So not getting caught up into clinging, condemning, reacting, resisting, denying, distracting. And really, it's only a mind that has been cultivated through meditation that doesn't get caught up in those things. In a way, they're sort of like psychological defense mechanisms, clinging, condemning, holding, pushing, reacting, resisting, denying, distracting. And ultimately, they consume a lot of energy. With a calm, clear mind that's attentive, objective, receptive, knowing, immune, what I call Teflon psyche, non-stick mind, immune to being affected or infected by externals or even internals, internal thoughts. So there may be a thought that may be motivated by or leading to the GAI virus, greed, anger, ignorance. So the Buddha said that all stress and suffering come down to one or a combination of these three things: greed, anger, or ignorance. So the unenlightened mind is infected to some degree with this virus, tri-strain virus. The antivirus is the GKW antivirus, which is generosity, kindness, and wisdom. But basically, it's about purifying the mind from this virus that affects our well-being, and therefore being immune to even thoughts, even mental states that are coming from greed, anger, or ignorance, enabling that sense of ease and well-being in life. So meditation, which again is why we're here, is so, so important. And probably the more we go through life and see that, okay, well, yes, I have life, I am alive, I experience life, but what's really important is the quality of my mind. At the end of the day, it's about how I feel, how I'm relating to experience, the residue of experience of the day. Quality of mind's really important there, and it's a meditation that's doing the work to enable that to be unaffected by life, the happenings of life. Particularly these days, as we're more sort of privy to distressing information. It's not just, oh, don't open a newspaper. It's like, don't turn on the television, don't turn on the computer, don't look at your phone, because there's going to be something there that's going to be distressing, upsetting, or that's motivated by greed, anger, or ignorance. But we can't totally disconnect. Not even monks and nuns, even they can't totally disconnect. So it's unless they're on a real, retreat, and which certainly can happen, which is the value of going on a retreat. So no contact. And so that, yes, disconnecting, but for the most part, that may only be for a certain period of time. So a day retreat, a weekend retreat, a week retreat, a 10-day retreat, a 3-month retreat, maybe a year retreat. When I was in the monastery in Thailand, I know 2 monks, 2 Western monks. They're both English and not at the same time, but they both spent a year in solitary confinement, voluntary solitary confinement, where they didn't speak to anyone, they didn't see anyone, and they didn't even see the sun for a year. They were in a cave deep in the bowels of the earth in Kanchanaburi province, where there's a monastery that had these amazing caves. And so deep in, it was set up, there was like a cavern type of area. I did visit one of the monks when he was coming out. We'd traveled down to this monastery to pick him up, and went in to see where he'd spent a year. And it was an area probably about this big. And he had like a platform, something like this, probably a little bit longer, that he slept on. It's fairly dry in the cave. Had some candles, and each day he did eat actually, but some food was brought to him and left just inside the cave, away from the light. And so he would then, after the food, he knew it was there, he'd go and get it and have his food and wash his bowl and so forth. But he said he wasn't able to. He couldn't go when he was finished his year retreat. He couldn't go straight out. He had to sort of bring his bench that he'd meditate on and sleep on just closer and closer and closer to the front of the cave to get a little bit of light, a little bit of light, a little bit more light. Otherwise, if he walked out, he'd just go blind, not having sort of been in the sun for that long. But he was pretty white. Um, and but he said it was a wonderful experience, and really sort of in the quiet, the depth of quiet and stillness, and being with his own mind, and to make it through the year, he really had to quiet and tame the mind, and was able to sort of develop some deep meditation states. Ajahn Jayasaro, his name. He's still in Thailand. He's wonderful monk, English, and then Ajahn Bodhipalo, who did the whole thing before him, survived. So the next English monk says, well, I'll give it a go too. Especially in England, you can be in England and sort of grey, 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 grey. There's no sun for months. I don't know any Australian monk that's done it. But certainly that sense of appreciating the importance of cultivating and developing the quality of our mind, which even comes to what are we focusing on in our life? What are we directing our life towards? Is it, I direct my life or towards work? Work is the main thing. The quality of my life, the meaning of my life is work. That might be fine for a while, but maybe it's not the main thing. Or it could be family, which is fine. It could be physical health. It could be entertainments. It could be many things that could be important to a degree, but they maybe don't become the main thing. So what are we directing our attention, our precious time, energy towards? And even beyond just directing, what are we dedicating? What am I dedicated to? The precious time, energy of my day, what am I dedicated to? So a bit more than just directing, but dedicated to. I am dedicated to this cause or this practice. And then even beyond what we're dedicated to, even the next step, devoted. What am I devoted to? I am devoted to the whatever. Might be I'm devoted to realizing freedom. I'm devoted to freedom that's a result of realizing truth, wisdom, truth. I'm devoted to that through the development of the mind through meditation. Again, the Buddha's path, morality, meditation, wisdom. And in that, as for being devoted, which devotion has more of a heart aspect. It's not just I'm directing or I am dedicated to, but devoted. So there's a more feeling in that. You speak about devotional practices as like a heart practice, devotional practice. Even a whole spiritual practice, which includes in Buddhism as well, devotional practices. Even being a devotee, sense of like I am devoted to, giving oneself to something, which means giving up a lot to devote to the particular thing that one's focusing on. And most people are devoted to something, whether it's their partner or whether it's just physical health or whether it's their work or a particular religion, devoted to their football team. They follow around and do lots of things for. Sit out in the rain for hours watching it's the team colors and yay. But appreciating that there's some really worthwhile things or a thing in terms of quality of mind, meditation, realizing truth, freedom to be devoted to. A devotee of freedom, Nibbana, the third noble truth. There is a truth of the realization of the ending of suffering, which is Nirodha, the ending of, which is Nibbana, enlightenment. So as a consideration, as a reflection, think, okay, so my precious time, energy, what do I direct that to? What am I dedicated to? What am I devoted to? And see where those things sort of line up. So any thoughts or reflections or comments yourself?
With dedication or devotion, is that in a way maybe type of clinging to something? Say if you were dedicated to something that was unachievable or was not available to you for whatever reason, would that become an obsession?
It could, for sure.
Or clinging to something that could become quite destructive.
So that's where really important to engage the Sila Samadhi Panya, the morality, the meditational clarity of mind, wisdom in a way so that you discern what you are devoted to. So it is wholesome and healthy and worthwhile and going to bring the results or the experience that one is after. Because there's some things that, yes, they may be very worthwhile, but they also might involve then clinging, and then that's something to have a look at. Okay, maybe you don't cling, but still you can still focus the energy. It can be things that one can be really great cause to be devoted to or dedicated to, but it might be unrealizable. Peace on the planet somewhere. You know, that a green planet or you know, important issues, economical, sort of healthy, environmental sort of issues. And yes, good to have that focus, but know that if there's a clinging, it might be a great cause of suffering, disappointment. It's about choosing wisely what we give precious time, energy to. And certainly the Buddha recommended the ultimate realization of freedom. That can have more effect than a lot of sort of activities that may involve you know, marching or sort of placards and so forth. The people that have done significant things and made significant sort of changes on the planet, they're ideally realized people, that they sort of make a big difference. Even like Ajahn Chah, that in a way we're living from his legacy. I spent time with him and appreciate what he did, and all the many branch monasteries around the world now, because of him focusing on realizing freedom, truth freedom, and then being able to make a difference to others. So it flows on. Even flowing on to people that never met him, that people that are ordaining as monks and nuns these days that never met Ajahn Chah. All the other causes that are healthy, wholesome causes are important, but at the same time, what may be more important is becoming fully aware, fully enlightened. That can make a big difference. Brendan?
Yeah, I was just wondering about, so let's say you're devoted to a cause, you're trying to do some good in the world, help some people, even if that's not attainable, then just the intention and you know, generating good karma by those acts is still labor, right?
Of course,
it's just a matter of, like you said, I guess, doing it wisely so that you are aware of what limitations there may be, and that you're not clinging to it so that, oh, well, I won't be happy unless I achieve this thing. So maybe doing it with that, you know, an open mind that, okay, it's a good cause and I'll do what I can for it. Do it wisely and not cling to the outcome.
And I guess also in that, it's about appreciating that, you know, for us, some people maybe they're not ready to meditate. They're not ready to practice meditation every day and be on a wisdom path to realize freedom, but they are ready to maybe do something good, be a volunteer, help a particular cause. So that's a good beginning. It's good karma, not being sort of self-centeredness and sort of caught up in ego. So it's a step along the path or the pilgrimage towards freedom. And sometimes people may be directed, dedicated, devoted to an activity that really brings a lot of joy or worth to other people, like some of the classical composers of music, you know, that have died centuries ago, that maybe didn't have much of a social life, but they wrote amazing music that still brings joy and well-being to people today. Or people that maybe were artists and in the fine arts that have done artwork that brings a sense of joy to people today. People that write poetry and books and things that have, bring great meaning and joy to people today. I think the important thing is to realize that time and energy, which are our two most important assets, are finite in this context of our life, and to use those two things as well as we can. And particularly then also appreciating that quality of life comes back to quality of mind, and that the more we're able to cultivate and clarify quality of mind, that flows on into everything that we experience. So we move towards the end of the year, ending of another year. This is our second last meditation group for the year. Next Thursday, the 19th, which will be the last, and which hopefully you can come along and also share some of any insights or learnings or experiences that you've had at the group, things that we might have shared or things that I might have said that were helpful or supportive or not helpful. Always good to get some feedback, even ideas for things for next year. I had thought of next year maybe doing a course. When I was in Sydney, I did had a meditation center where I worked from as well, large room, something like this. And so I would do courses. We had like a Thursday night group, but also had an evening where I would do a 10-week course or an 8-week course. And I was thinking that we could do as part of what we're doing on a Thursday night, a course looking into maybe the, we've done the Eightfold Path. We had a look at that, I think it was last year, but even looking at the 10 paramita, the 10 spiritual virtues, important qualities to develop. Also, there's the 10 ways to well-being, which are basically 10 ways of cultivating good karma and merit that the Buddha spoke about. And other things as well that we can do as a course. I do have course notes for these as well that go through what we're doing, and also with questions after each session. So that's just an idea for the next year.
So John, that would be during our normal Thursday?
Yeah,
or
yeah. Probably on a Thursday. Yeah.
I enjoyed the course we did whenever we did a Eightfold Path.
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed that. I could do another course.
Yeah, it's good learning, especially with the notes that I've got. So can make it such that people can maybe get the notes and as a PDF and print it off and bring it along. So give some thought to ideas for next year as we develop and grow our group, our Sangha, meditation Sangha. And hopefully you can be here for the next Thursday. Have a great week and see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.